And welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Spirit of Justice. So, we are in the process of talking with Dirk. We have finished pressing on all the state bits now, so now we're heading into the part where we have to present something. We're presenting something on the third statement, with the mysterious bloodstain we discovered.
Objection!
I move this out of the way so I can actually see what I'm doing. Your Eminence, I'm afraid this trial will go exactly as you anticipated. Will not, because I can show how there might have been a third party in that tomb.
Oh, how very fascinating. Go on. I do so love a good fairy tale.
We did a luminal test at the crime scene, and we found a bloodstain that didn't match the Justice Minister's blood. I will remind you that neither Dirk nor Miss Faye were injured during the incident. The thing is, this bloodstain we found had been wiped up by someone. What's this? But who would have done such a thing? That's the big question, isn't it? Who wiped up the blood and why? Thinking about it logically, it must be someone who wanted to conceal their presence at the scene of the crime.
Oh, and to whom do you suppose the bloodstain might belong?
The bloodstain belongs to the real killer. The bloodstain belongs to the real killer, of course. Whoever it was, they were probably shot while they were attacking Minister Inga. And since their blood would give them away, they had to wipe it up. I'd say this because we know for a fact that the Justice Minister fired his gun in the tomb.
You have the memory of a flea. There was nowhere for anyone to hide. This, too, is a known fact.
Objection!
But a bloodstain from a third party means there must have been someone hiding there.
Very well then, tell me this. Where was this third party hiding?
Oh,
The crime scene was thoroughly searched after it was discovered. So if there was a hiding place, it would have been somewhere no one would dare look.
somewhere no one would dare look. Huh. Let's have your answer, Defense. Now, where could the third party have hidden? I think the cursor's gonna... Yep, the cursor lands right on top of it for me. There's one place no one would search, not even the Queen's Royal Guard. And that would be... inside Queen Amara's sarcophagus. Even now, it's locked up tight. No one would find you if you hid in there. I'm told that it's temperature controlled to preserve the mummy within. But if someone dressed warmly enough, they could withstand the cold for a short time. This is sacrilege. Surely the perpetrator of such a foul deed would be cursed. But that's just it. The killer knew everyone would be too scared to open the sarcophagus.
True. The guards were so scared of being cursed they wouldn't even touch it.
And when the coast was clear, the killer made a quick escape from within their frigid confines. Well now, that does sound like a plausible method of evading capture. The defense requests a DNA test on the bloodstain. And then we'll see just who the real killer is. That's new.
Bow your head and kneel, lawyer. So your head may be parted from your shoulders.
Huh? But the trial's not even over. Airbending! Whoa!
How soon you forget. You are already on the headsman's scaffold. As such, I could order your beheading at any moment.
All I did was request a DNA test.
There is no need to request such a test. Royal Guard, Bring it forth now.
Here you are, Your Eminence.
The police have already identified the source of the bloodstain. The DNA test revealed that the blood is of the traitor, Dirk Sedmati.
You know, when it's coming from the Queen, who is obviously the bad guy, I have to question that. What? But Dirk wasn't injured. So where did his blood come from?
Maybe he coughed it up.
Oh no, that just upsets me now. Dirk's illness. Still, there was a lot of blood. Could he have really coughed up that much? And did he wipe it up to hide his failing health? Dirk, is it really that bad?
Aw, shoot, you got me.
Well, okay. Dirk, I'm really worried about you.
Pay attention, Horn Devil, for this case has already been solved. You claimed that this bloodstain would lead us to the real killer, did you not?
About that.
Did you or did you not make that claim of your own volition, defense?
Yes, I did.
After she steered you into that direction, that is.
I fell right into her trap.
Do you see now the folly in opposing the very embodiment of the law? Whatever you say or do shall come to no avail. A third party at the scene of the crime? It's beyond the realm of possibility.
No! Praise be for Queen Garin! Her Eminence's legal tactics are beyond compared!
I hate to say this, but she really got us good.
The key to Amara's sarcophagus is under the protection of the royal family. My husband and I are the only ones who could open it. Therefore, it would be impossible for some knave to open it.
Can I really discount the sarcophagus as a hiding place, though? What if the real killer is still in there? No, that's just ridiculous.
I believe we have rebels and sympathizers in the gallery today. It is to you I speak. Have you been listening, Dirk Sedmati, the one who proclaimed a bloodless revolt? Has betrayed your cause by resorting to murder.
No, it can't be. Dirk would never... There must be some kind of mistake. Ellipses again! The Defiant Dragons and their sympathizers are starting to have doubts.
So this is why Garan allowed us to cross-examine Dirk. By establishing his guilt in Inga's murder, she's effectively damaged his reputation among those who support him.
True, but now we have an even bigger problem.
And now, filthy lawyers, you will honor your end of the bargain. Accept your guilty verdict for your failure to explain your client's actions.
Oh.
Now, I shall pass judgment upon the criminal, Dirk Sedmati.
What's this? You? Shall pass judgment? But your evidence, is that not my role?
Hold your tongue. You are but a figurehead before me, the embodiment of law.
Ouch!
Consider yourself dismissed.
Wow, are you gonna take that, Judge? Are you?
As Queen of Kurayan, I shall now pass judgment upon the accused.
Well, okay. This is the shortest case 5 ever. Bad end. Well then. Why is there cheering? Is that her guards cheering? Because the audience, the galley is cheering. Wait! You didn't even give me a chance to rebut!
Know when you are defeated, lawyer. But just this once, I am willing to show you the depths of my compassion. Tell me why I should allow these proceedings to continue. Come, convince me.
Quick, Apollo. Even if you have to bluff, we've got to keep this trial going. Show her that the crime could have been committed by a third party.
How am I supposed to do that?
Why don't you start with, how about the timing of Inga's murder?
What?
This whole case is built on a single premise. That Inga was murdered after Dirk entered the tomb. But what if that's not true?
Like, if our assumptions are all wrong. It just might work. Well, don't keep us waiting, defense. Dirk became the prime suspect because it didn't seem probable that there was a third party at the scene of the crime. But there is another question we should ask ourselves at this time. Was Mr. Inga really killed after Dirk entered the tomb?
What nonsense is this?
Setting aside the assumption that the murder occurred after Dirk arrived on the scene opens up the possibility of a third party committing the crime. The question before us is, when was Minister Inga really killed? Before Dirk entered the tomb. Isn't it possible that, before Dirk even set foot in the tomb, Minister Inga was already dead? That would certainly make the possibility of a third party more probable.
Why, of course. I fell unconscious right after I entered the tomb. Even if I hadn't, I wouldn't have had a clear line of sight to his body from the entrance. Which means...
You wouldn't have noticed his body either way. The scenario is entirely possible. And so we can't rule out the possibility of a third person committing the crime. I see. Well, that certainly does make sense. So far, so good. This might actually work.
Very well. I shall play along with whatever little game you have knocking around in that tiny mind. I was starting to get quite bored of all this. I could do with a distraction.
Yes!
Let us hear some testimony that will shed light on when exactly the minister was slain. Bailiff, summon Rafa. Surely she has recovered by now.
But what about me? Don't I serve a purpose anymore? Oh, this poor judge! Don't let her take advantage of you, Judge! Come on! Oh no, Rafa. I hope you are feeling better, Your Benevolence. Must I perform the divination seance? What? Oh, no. We merely require your testimony this time. Oh, poor Rafa. How could my testimony be of any value? Your Benevolence. Princess Rafa seems awfully depressed.
After what she's been through, summoning her again is like rubbing salt in the wound. Being unable to perform the seance was probably the last straw.
I hope she doesn't pass out again. Prosecutor Sivmahi, may I ask you something? Of course, Your Benevolence. I've been meaning to ask you this since yesterday. Did you know about Queen Amara? And about me?
From where did you hear such a thing?
From Mother, and only yesterday.
Rafa was carrying on about telling the truth to the people. So I told her what the truth really was. For it is up to a mother to discipline her child.
I see. Be as it may, your benevolence, it has no bearing upon our trial here today. So there is no need to let it trouble you.
I know.
Garan told Rafa about something other than Amara's status?
Sounds like it, but what could it be?
Rafa, the defense has proposed something preposterous. They somehow think your father was already dead when Dirk entered the tomb. But I believe you can prove them wrong. Are you prepared to do what is required of you?
Yes, I am ready to testify.
Very well then, your benevolence. Your testimony, if you please. Poor judge. I'm still sad about the judge.
On the day of the murder, I was gazing upon the courtyard from my second-floor veranda. Around 2:30 p.m., I saw my father heading for Amara's tomb. Then, at about 2:45, I saw Barbhead and company enter the courtyard. I saw no one go in or out of the tomb after my father entered at about 2:30.
That was a short testimony. Your second-floor veranda.
Oh, she must be talking about that house facing Inga's private residence. So that's the location from which you saw your father. And at about 2:30? Yes, and shortly after that, you people arrived at the royal residence.
So after the minister entered Amara's tomb at around 2:30, no one went in or out of there until the murder was discovered.
The tomb is closed to outsiders, so no one could have snuck in before the murder. That rules out any possibility of a third party lying in wait to slay my poor husband.
Or so she likes us to believe.
Now hear me, you useless lawyer. Cease this charade and bow before me. For I, Queen Garan, shall finally have your head.
Forgive me, your evidence, but first let us allow the defense to question the witness. Poor judge. Let me through, thank you.
Hold it!
You say you've been watching the courtyard until we arrived, correct?
That seems like an awfully long time.
There is much that weighs on my mind.
I see. She really does sound troubled.
I don't think she ever fully recovered from the previous trial.
Your benevolence. As Crown Princess, you are destined to rule this kingdom one day. That means there will be many things that you alone must determine. Things like how to keep your people happy, and what is true and what is false. And most importantly, what role you must play therein.
I wonder if I am even up to the task.
I guess it's not easy being a princess.
Your benevolence. I'd be happy to lend an ear if you ever like to talk. Priva's like, no. Huh. What would you know of my woes? Do not presume to exceed your station in life. Sheesh. Teenagers. Your benevolence, what did you witness from your veranda? Well... Did your father seem different or troubled in any way? Let me think. Oh, there was one unusual thing. There was? Yes, a shriek emanated from within my father's quarters. After which I witnessed him bolt outside, his countenance drained of its usual color. He screamed and he was looking pale? What do you suppose happened? I know not. Perhaps he had a bad dream. Maybe it was a nightmare about being raked over with coals by the queen.
It seems our young lawyer here wishes to hasten his journey to the Twilight Realm.
Sorry. That was rude of me. Does the defense believe the witness's last statement to be important? I believe it is. I would like the witness to add it to her testimony. My father let out a scream and came dashing out of his room. His face pale. I'm gonna skip over that for now. 2:45. Yes, I believe that's around when we arrived. Mr. Wright, Athena, Dirk, and I were running toward the tomb. Yes, and I was taken aback, as we don't normally see commoners in the palace courtyard. Even more shockingly was that Dirk, a wanted man, was with you. Yeah, I suppose so. I thought the villainous leader of the Defiant Dragons was here with his minions. Because it was, time for a revolution. I think you've been watching too much of that TV show.
I have already banned its broadcast for containing content unsuitable for our kingdom. Besides, the actress playing Rafa looked nothing like her. I can't have my subjects feeling so disappointed when they see the real Rafa.
Wow! But, Mother! Why are you so cruel to me? Are you so ashamed? Once I am all grown up, I shall be just as full-figured as that actress.
She's placing all her hopes on one final growth spurt.
For her sake, I hope it's in her DNA.
I suppose you could always hope for a miracle.
Holy crap, she's so mean! Oh, I'll show you! I shall double my milk intake and grow big and strong! There, your benevolence. I think you are fine just the way you are. Now, may I ask that you continue with your testimony? I wish I could grow up faster. Jesus Christ, her mom's a bitch! Is it possible you missed seeing someone pass through? No. My veranda has a commanding view of the entire grounds, and I saw no one else. But that doesn't seem right somehow.
Do not underestimate my daughter. She may be lacking elsewhere, but her eyes are the finest.
Wow, we're going at this again! Lacking elsewhere? Talk about a mother I'd never wish on my worst enemy.
She needs Nana now more than ever. Her father let out a scream and ran outside all pale-faced? That sounds pretty serious.
What do you suppose happened in his private quarters? Alright, we're going back to the third statement now. Pressing that again. Pressing that. And why do you think he screamed? Was he surprised by someone who didn't belong there? Did anyone else come out? I didn't see anyone else. Just my father. That last statement was seriously lacking in conviction. Should I press her on this? Be nice and leave it be. Press softly, press harshly. I think you can actually press softly, but, for this one, we're gonna be pressing harshly. I think press softly will also give you the answer. I don't know. I don't remember. It's been a long time. Your benevolence. Let's have some details. The more, the better. Details, you say? Yes. For example, are you sure you didn't see anyone in the royal residence before 2:30? Well, is that a yes or a no? Ah! A foreign devil! I'd been gazing upon the courtyard since about 2 yesterday, yet I saw none other than my father. Oh, if only I'd stopped him then. Oh no!
I think you've struck a nerve, or rather, obliterated one.
Maybe I pressed a little too hard. Still, that last statement seemed a little off somehow. So you didn't see anyone except your father in the courtyard after 2 p.m., huh? Please add that to your testimony, Your Benevolence. Wasn't, Albie around? I had been gazing upon the courtyard since about 2, but father was the only one I saw. I feel like Albie was there around that time, actually. Is the royal residence always so empty? Naturally, it is where the royal family lives, and we are few in number. Besides, Nana and the little birds who visit, I have no one else to talk to. Oh no, that's sad. Is there anything more stereotypically princessy than talking to birds? So Nana wasn't around at all yesterday? It seems she was quite busy. I was all alone the entire day. It's been like that a lot lately.
Rifa doesn't go to school, so she probably doesn't have many close friends.
That's so sad!
She must lead a rather solitary life.
I guess being a princess isn't all it's cracked up to be.
Rafa, I shall buy you a new servant.
We can solve everything with money. I don't want you to buy me a servant like some sort of pet! I want Nana! I'm beginning to see why Rafa turned out like she did. Your Benevolence, please tell us about what happened after you saw your father. Well, it was around 2:30 when I saw him heading for the tomb. Alright, we're gonna actually present something on that statement about seeing no one else at around 2, or about 2. Because, what about Albie and this dog?
Objection!
Probably the last thing too, because we're running out of time again. Your Benevolence, you're covering for someone, aren't you? Huh? I don't know what you're talking about. Sorry, Rafa, but you're not gonna like this. Well, the thing is, I have a statement here that you might find interesting. It's from a witness who claims that around 2 p.m. his dog got loose and ran into the palace courtyard. That's when the little fellow stole his hat from someone. That's Nana's. I mean, nothing! Never mind!
You fool of a daughter.
It seems the princess made a blunder.
So let me get this straight. This is Nana's hat, which means she had to have been in the royal residence at around 2. If so, then you had to have seen Nana sometime after 2 p.m. yesterday. No! Please, Your Benevolence, tell us what you really saw. Oh no. It is as you say, Hornhead. I saw Nana. And I saw that dingbat dog steal her hat from her in front of my father's residence. I knew it. Why didn't you say so in the first place? Because, my mother told me not to. What? Would you care to explain, Your Eminence?
I requested she withhold said information, for it is of no relevance to this case.
Sure it doesn't.
Objection!
You don't get to decide.
If you disagree, then prove that it is relevant to the case at hand.
Oh, I will. Your Benevolence, please tell us everything you witnessed when you saw Nana. Alright. When I saw that dingbat dog attack Nana, I ran to help. I raced from my second floor veranda down into the courtyard. Wait, that means that while you were coming down, you took your eyes off the courtyard. Yes, but only for a moment. This is crucial testimony. If you took your eyes off the courtyard, it means somebody else could have entered the tomb without you ever knowing. Your Benevolence, are you sure no one else was there? Yes. She's hiding something again. What about Nana? Were you able to help her? When I got down to the courtyard, Nana she was gone. Gone? Yes, and I never saw her again after that. Any idea what happened? That dingbat dog must have gobbled her up! I seriously doubt that. But how could Nana simply disappear while Rafa wasn't looking? Rafa must know something. The only question is what? Where Shadow was in the courtyard, where Nana disappeared to. Do you have any idea where Nana disappeared to? What do you mean? Well, during the time you took your eyes off the courtyard, someone could have headed into the tomb. And it just so happens that Nana disappeared right at that moment. No!
Wait, you think Nana had something to do with the murder?
I don't think we can rule it out. It sounds like something had kept Nana occupied since the early morning. Plus, she was seen right before the murder, and then seemed to vanish into thin air.
You're right. And since she's Rafa's attendant, she could come and go as she pleased within the palace grounds.
Could Rafa's attendant really be the killer? But that would mean... First my father, and now Nana? These were the people I trusted most. How could this be?
Do not heed their lies. Lawyers are a foul breed, quick to claim that a third party is to blame for a crime. Nana did not enter the tomb. That much is certain.
How can you be so sure?
When Nana's hat was stolen, that crazed cur spilled an urn full of water upon my husband's doorstep. Is that not right, Rafa?
Yes it is. While that dingbat dog was tugging on Nana's hat, it tipped over the urn. The bottoms of her shoes would have been soaked with water. Oh, that's scarring.
And if she had truly headed into the tomb with wet shoes,
I guess you're gonna be missing a line there, Athena. My bad.
she would have left shoe prints along the way. But the only shoe prints to be found belonged to my husband, Inga.
Huh? Then...
That's right. Nana never did go into the tomb that day. Instead, she entered my husband's private quarters.
How do you know?
It's quite simple. Shoe prints were discovered in Inga's private quarters. Shoe prints that belonged to Nana.
Why are there Nana footprints inside the quarters, but no footprints outside it?
That's right. Edgeworth and I did see some shoe prints in there.
Now do you understand? Nena could not possibly have gone into the tomb. And that supposed third person at the crime scene is but a figment of your imagination.
Another glorious deduction! All hail the genius that is Her Eminence Queen Garan! Bow down before her glory, witless lawyer!
Could those guys fanboy any harder? But is it really true? Did Nena not go into the tomb?
Excuse me, but
Mr. Wright?
your benevolence, what time was it when that dog attacked Nena?
I believe it was about 2:15 p.m.
I see. Apollo, if Nena entered Inga's private quarters at around 2:15, and Inga came racing out at around 2:30, pale-faced and screaming, then...
I know what you're getting at. Yes, that might explain his scream.
Would the defense please share their theory regarding Justice Minister Inga's scream?
Certainly, Your Majesty. Minister Inga screamed because, we will answer this in the next video, unfortunately, because we are out of time now. So, yeah, sorry. I'm gonna leave this as a cliffhanger. I'll see you guys then.